better. If the question is, hey, did Andrew Friedman cook with the Tanner Scott signing? So far, the answer is no. Could that change? Absolutely. Will we forget this if he dominates in the postseason for the Dodgers? We 100% will. I guarantee you that. And the stuff, the velocity, the spin, all that stuff points to a guy that should be performing better than he is right now. But at the end of the day, the results are the results. And this is a performance-based business, and Tanner Scott needs to pitch better. And they need to do whatever they think they need to do to get him to perform like the guy that they had hoped when they had signed to that $72 million deal. Because the truth is, comes in the 7th, preserves that 2-run lead, gets the big strikeout to Arias, but then the 8th, that's not a $72 million pitcher. That's a $7 million pitcher, right? I mean, 3 hits, a walk. That tied it. He's now blown leads in 3 of his last 5 appearances. 3 of his last 5 appearances, Scott has blown the lead. He's given up 10 runs in that stretch. Before that, he allowed 4 runs in his first 21 appearances. So it's not like he's been bad the entire season. Don't tell me he's Craig Kimbrelsa, Craig Crumble. He's not that. But this stretch, he has started to struggle, and so has Alex Vesia. And like I said, the home run ball for Vesia is the issue. 7 home runs in 27 games this year. Last year, 7 home runs in his entire season. And that is just not going to be the recipe for him. But let's hear from Dave Roberts after the rough loss in Cleveland, where the Dodgers so close to finishing off with a sweep. Here's Doc after the game.
Overall, very solid, just a few days here in Cleveland, but with just kind of how this game played out, I have to imagine it leaves quite a sour taste in your mouth. But what were you seeing just kind of from the bullpen in this one today?
It did. It's sour in the sense of, you win the first 2 and you catch a lead going into the 8th inning and you feel good about the game. And I thought we did enough to win, but unfortunately, that 8th inning got away from us.
With whether it was Tanner, whether it was Alex Vesia, what are you kind of seeing from those guys right now?
I think with Tanner, obviously, with the Muncie play right there, that was took a weird hop. And then the walk was a walk that you really would like to have back. And I think that the crux is when you get count leverage, we're just not able to put guys away with the strikeout and leaving middle spin sliders in the zone for them to put the ball in play. And I think that when you do that, then sometimes the ball finds holes or some outfield grass. And so that's kind of what I see. And then with Alex, got behind and gave him with a fastball that wasn't his best fastball, and the guy hit a homer.
Just the lack of finishing guys off, kind of a common thread of his season so far.
I think that's what it is, and we've got to kind of get to the bottom of it. It's not a usage thing. It's something that we've seen all year, and there's great strike throwing, getting count leverage. But just that last pitch, to put guys away, like he did with Arias, I thought that was kind of, something really impressive, and that's what we got to kind of unlock and be consistent with. But I just think the stuff is good at times, but it's just kind of the finishing off the hitters.
Is that Muncie one a play he needs to make there? I know it took like that weird hop off the edge of the grass. Kind of how did you see it?
You know what? I just saw it from my vantage point, so I didn't get a clear view of it. I know that the coach were talking about that it kind of, the last hop took a weird turn, and so I just didn't get a good enough look at it.
You try to get a second inning out of Trevino because of the workload out there, or do you expect him to be a 2-inning, multi-inning guy?
I think it's just more of just given where we're at, the options, and it's some of those guys you want batting left-handed versus right-handed, and he was down for a couple of days, so that's kind of where we're at. So I felt good about that. Yeah.
And then going to Tanner in the 7th inning.
I just felt that right there, Trevino was out of gas, and I wanted to stop the momentum, and I just felt that part of the order, I felt good about Tanner going back out there.
Yep, you heard Dave Roberts right there ask about Trevino. And look, he was out there in the 6th, was still giving up hits. And he's another guy that was getting battered to death too. Santana reached on the infield single. Arias a single to right. Did get the strikeout to Noel and struck out Wilson. And then he had the balk. Then he intentionally rocked Schneemann. Then he got the pop out to short. So he was kind of playing with fire with the bases loaded there in the 6th, coming through in a big spot. And then when he comes out in the 7th, leadoff single to right. And yeah, it was going to be a tough play for him to just stay in that one. The hard hit ball to Ramirez, then the single to Santana, and he gives up a run. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough for this Dodgers bullpen in general when you look at just the options they do have and the kind of talent that they have compared to what they were expecting. But the bullpen, 9 hits, 6 runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 3 innings. I mean, that's not going to get it done against a good team on the road. You're not going to win a ton of games when you get that result. And Trevino and Scott, you give up 5 runs on 8 hits in 2 1/3 innings combined after Kershaw left the game in the 5th. So, yeah, outside of Clayton Kershaw having a really nice game by where he's at, the fact that the 3-time NL Cy Young Award winner of the future, first ballot Hall of Famer, pitched a season-high 5 innings. Well, it just was not enough. And Shohei Ohtani, his home run streak ends at 3 games. He went 0 for 3 today. And that's the other big takeaway in this one, too. The Dodgers offense, there's a lot of pressure on them to perform. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on them to go out there and score a ton of runs. And today, they score 4 runs. They're able to get 7 hits, 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. But they're going to need to put this team on their back while the pitching gets healthy. And that is the task at hand for them. Top of the 4th, Will Smith, he got a double to center that scored a run. Pages singled in a run. They made it a 2-1 game. And then later in this one, Freddie Freeman singled to right in the top of the 6th to make it a 3-1 game. And then Kike Hernandez, he scored after he got a 1-out double, was able to get to 3rd, and he scored on a wild pitch to give the Dodgers their 4th run. But not a ton of offense for this team. And we've kind of seen when you don't get that home run ball, it looks like you got to manufacture runs in another way. Other thing I want to point out, too, is, man, Tommy Edman's been struggling of late. I mean, Tommy Edman, since come back from the injury, has not looked right at the plate. He goes 0 for 4 today. 0 for 4 today does Tommy Edman. And he had this great start. It looked like he was going to be a lock to make the All-Star team, and Tommy tanks. He was on pace for 30 home runs. Right now, Tommy Edman, he has a 96 weighted runs created plus and a 225 batting average. What if I told you that Tommy Edman was actually statistically having almost an identical offensive season than Max Muncy? Max Muncy has a 96 weighted runs created plus, and Tommy Edman is right there too. So not a great night for Tommy Edman, not a great series, and they have to find a way to get him a rhythm at the plate. And also, look, Hae-Sung Kim just not getting opportunities too. I mean, and I'll too, one more thing I want to put out. I mean, Michael Conforto had a home run yesterday, going through one of the worst stretches of his career, and then El Bencho. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I mean, like, talk about just pouring ice cold water on someone. I mean, look, I understand the matchup, and you understand that as well, but sometimes I think you just kind of have to say, look, like, this guy has been going through the worst stretch of his career, and he doesn't play the game after. I mean, it's another opportunity for you to get some confidence. I don't get that one either today. But take some more comments, guys. Taste that. Don't you dare compare Tommy Tanks to Muncy. Don't deflect. I'm just telling you exactly. Offensively speaking, statistically, they're having identical offensive seasons. I mean, look, I bring my facts to the fight. I'm just kind of giving you the information, right? I mean, the truth of the matter is Tommy Edman is great. Defensively, there's no comparison because what he brings on the defensive side, he doesn't need to be well above average. Like, the same standard for Max Muncy isn't the same standard for Tommy Edman. For Tommy Edman to provide value, if he's at or around league average, the versatility in the defense at multiple positions at a Gold Glove level makes him a valuable player. For Max Muncy to be playable on your roster, he has to be well above average offensively because the defense is below average, right? So I'm not comparing them from that stance in any way, shape, or form, but it's just something that stood out to me when going over the stats every single morning like I do, to see that Max Muncy and Edman, offensively speaking, their numbers are more similar than you would realize based on the start that Edman had and the year that Muncy's had. So, hey, I mean, just trying to make. Oh, and then Taste then it says, "Sorry, DMAC, you're wrong. Squirrel found a nut. Sit him." So you didn't want to see Michael Conforto in today. I want to get some momentum. And look, even in the thing too is, it's not even because, I mean, you look at today where the Guardians were in Allard. Yeah, that's a lefty starter, right? Michael Conforto had reverse splits last year. Okay, so the Dodgers signed Michael Conforto because of the hitter that he was last year mainly and throughout his career. Well, something kind of interesting